Hey guys, it's Trish back with another video, and today we're going to make a really fun necklace using October's Potomac Beads treasure box called Ghoulish Goodies. I have picked out a lot of the grays and purples and whites as far as the beads go. There is a ton of orange and green in there as well that's totally beautiful that you could use. I just decided to go for this palette, so I'm just going to get out my materials out of the bags here that I've chosen. And then this is a 4mm glass round, check glass round. And then we have our clasp right here, already ready to go. I'm going to use some of these check glass sleeves in lavender. They're super pretty. Excuse me. And I'm going to use these gemstones, 8mm white magnesite. So we'll use those, get those out. And then these are some check glass daggers. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the daggers between the leaves. I haven't decided yet, but they're catching my eye. And then these beautiful check glass fire polish in 10mm. I have got to put those in my piece. So I'm going to set those up here. And of course, I'm going to use some links because they just add so much to your pieces. And then these beautiful 4mm cream Potomac bead pearls. Okay. So we got everything out there. Let me put these packages over to the side. So I think I'm going to start by laying out my design a little bit. Let me cut these strands that I have so I can start using those. Get those out. Of course, they always roll all over when you take them off the string, don't they? So I have that, and then I'm going to put those over there so they're not all so spread out. And then I'm going to trim my pearl strand so I can use those. So I'm just going to get an idea here on what design I want to do. I'm not one to completely lay out designs before I do them, for better or for worse, but usually what I do is I just give myself a good idea like on what design I want to do. So I just kind of lay out a basic. So I know I want to use these. So do we want... And the hole goes front to back on those. So we're going to wire wrap those so we can hook those onto the beading wire. And then let's see, how many of these do we have? I think we'll put these up toward the top where we're going to put our links, just like so. So on either side, we're going to do that. And I don't know if I want those between there, or if I want to put the daggers and the leaves. Just kind of playing with this here, guys, getting a feel. And I think I want to put the pearls with the leaves, and then the rounds with the daggers, if I do that. All right. And then we'll put these in between and use these up at the top. And then I have two more here. I may pull those in as well. So that just gives me kind of like what I'm thinking as far as my basic pattern. So what I'm going to do is we're going to work on wire wrapping some of these leaves. And let me get some wire here. I guess I'll just use some copper because that's what I have on hand here. I like mixed metals. It doesn't bother me. So I am always prone to use a mixed metal when I'm making something. So it's just simply, we're just going to put the 20 gauge wire through the hole in the leaf. I'm going to go up and cross. Okay. And then we're going to take our pliers and I'm going to angle the long wire up and angle the short wire across so we can then wire wrap that. Okay, so just simple. Just give it a couple wraps. All right, and there you go. Now you can put a little loop on it and hook it in to your piece. So let's straighten out these loops so they look good. And then we're going to cut our wire. Oops, put that off to the side. Give this a little squeeze. And then that's what we're going to do with our leaves. And then all you would do for the loop on the top, I just use my round nose pliers and just make a loop up and over, just like we always do. And wrap that. And there you go. You're ready to go. So let me show you one more of these, and then I'm going to go ahead and make these and come back. So let's do a dagger. Only difference is in that is that the holes go in a different way. Okay, so same concept. Get your piece of wire. I'm probably cutting a good 6-8 inch piece of wire because I always cut more than I need. But we're going to go sideways on this one. Put the 20 gauge through. Same exact concept. We're going to cross. And then point this longer one up, the shorter one sideways. Wrap around. Hold that with my left, I think. That make my a little easier to show you what I'm doing here. Okay. So we're going to wrap around, and there you go. Then we're just going to trim that wire like so. And then make our loop at the top, just like so. Up and over, crossed, and then wrap. Okay, so I'm gonna make all of my dangles here, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have all of my leaves and daggers wired up, so we're ready to go on that. I laid out my pattern here, and I'm just going to use some stringing wire, and I'm going to begin stringing. So I'm just going to start from this side, and I got some spacers out because I did want to use some metal to just kind of give it a little bit of a pop. Just some simple daisy spacers I got here. Actually, yeah, we'll do it that way. Not between the pearls and the wire. We'll put them between the larger white beads, I think. Okay. So let's do bronze. And then the white bead. And another bronze. Daisy spacer. Then one of our topaz rounds. This color is so pretty on these. I really like them. And this will string up quick. Once you get everything ready to go, wire wrapping everything and having your pattern laid out, it'll come together pretty quick. So, and I'm just adding our beads as we go. See, that's what we have so far. And then we're going to take another daisy spacer. Very simple pattern, anyone can do here. And another daisy spacer. I love my daisies. I use these daisy spacers like crazy. I have a big collection of them. And these pearls are just stunning, aren't they? I'll just string that on. I think I want my, yeah, let's put our leaves all going the same way here. And another pearl. Can see how we're doing. And then we're going to go spacer. And I did decide to use one of these fire polish for the center because I think it really makes it. Okay, and then we're going to add our white magnesite on, another spacer. And I think I'm going to do a couple pearls. Do a pearl here, then put my fire polish, and then another pearl. And then work our pattern back the way, same way that we did on this side. So we're going to put our magnesite. Spacers, and I'm just working right off of the roll, guys, so then that way I can just pull my wire as I need it, and I don't have to have as much waste, and that always makes a difference. And we're just going to continue stringing on our pieces. I do like how the spacers make everything pop. And I like that the copper here is different from the bronze. And I think toward the back where I put my clasp and when I do my rings, I'm going to incorporate some of the brighter copper to kind of carry that up and through the piece. So let's put almost there. See how quick this is coming together? Just simple and easy, but it makes a nice statement with all of this beautiful, with all these beautiful beads. You know, when you have high quality materials, you don't have to go over the top to make things look beautiful. Almost there. And then what I think I'm going to do, let's see if I have enough. Yeah, I have enough white bead of the magnesite that I'm going to go ahead and put a magnesite on both ends before we hook onto our loops. Whoops, one of those, have to get that one because we cannot waste a pearl, can we? Just popped on the floor, so we'll have to get that. Okay, and then like I said, I'm going to put the magnesite on this end and then put one on the other end. So now I can cut my strung piece off of the roll, just leaving myself enough on both sides so then that way you can have room to crimp. You want to make sure you leave yourself enough always. So trim that. And then I'm just going to grab a couple crimps. Let's see what colors I have here. Let's do the copper ones. Again, that'll carry everything kind of throughout. So we're going to get a couple. I use number 2 crimp tubes. They're my favorite. Let me just set these up there and grab a couple crimps. And then we're going to put our crimp tube on this end. And then we are going to feed that wire back through that crimp to make a loop. And I'm going to hook my loops on with some jump rings. So if you're worrying about that, we're going to hook those on with some jump rings later. And then I'm just going to give it a crimp. And a bend. Get that back there. And give it a bend. And there we go. So on this other end, we've got that crimped. Let's cut our wire here. So on this other end, I still need to add my piece of magnesite. So I'm going to do that. It just kind of gives it a finished look, I think, on the ends. More finished than having the leaf on the end, you know. So let's put another crimp on and do the exact same thing, except this time we're going to have to make sure that we have everything in our piece at the right tension. When we did the other end, we didn't have to worry about it because we still had this side to deal with. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put that back down through my crimp, and I like to take, if I can find them here, my round nose pliers and just put it inside my loop and kind of pull that down. So then that way it puts it in place, and I can kind of feel, okay, that's a little bit too taut. So I just give it a squeeze between the crimp and the beads, like so. And that gives a little bit more room, a little more breathing room. I want a little less than that. So you just keep kind of playing with it until you see, you know, things aren't too stiff, but yet you don't have too much room left on the end that's going to look bad if it's gapped. So let's make our loop bigger. I know my fingers are blocking, it's not helping, but let me just kind of work that to the size that I want. Here we go. And then we're going to crimp that. Okay. Get that bend in there because I like mine to be bent to make them smaller. There we go. And then cut our string. So then we're going to put our loops on, and then I have this really cool piece of acrylic chain. I mean, I think it's really cool, and I think it kind of pops off of this piece a little bit, gives it a little bit of a deeper color, you know, just kind of pulls it all. So I'm going to take some jump rings, and I'm just going to grab a couple copper jump rings just to pull that up there, like I said. Let's see what sizes I have. Let's do that one. So I'm going to set this up here in case we need some more. So I'm just going to take my jump rings and hook on through the wire and then onto one of our loops, and then close that loop up with my chain nose. We'll work that together, back and forth, till we get it to close, just like so. So we have our loop on that side. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then I said I wanted to incorporate putting another fire polish in between these two loops. And I do want to do that, but I'll show you what we need to do to turn this bead into a link so we can do that. Okay, so open that. Jump ring and loop, and close that up. Whoops, it slipped, but we think we got it anyway. Okay, almost. Get a little too aggressive sometimes. make them slip. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to turn these fire polish beads into a link, and it's just as simple as taking another piece of your 20 gauge wire. I mean, you always have to have 20 gauge wire on hand. And all we're going to do is just take that wire and we're going to give it a horizontal bend. And then I'm going to kind of trim it back to about 1/4 of an inch or so. Okay. A little bit more. And then I'm just going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm going to grab the end of that where that horizontal bend is and just roll that back just like so. Okay, that gives us our loop on the end. Then we're going to put on our fire polish. Actually, let me see something. I think I'm going to add in a couple pearls and a couple spacers. So let's put on a pearl. And then let's grab a couple of our copper spacers, just for funsies. Add on our fire polish, another copper spacer, and then a pearl. So this is going to be our link between our two loops that we're using. Okay, isn't that pretty? All right, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a horizontal bend, but this time it's going to be on top of the bead. So we're doing a horizontal bend and approximately 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and then our round nose. And we're going to grab the tip and roll that back. Okay, so there you go. There's one done. And we want to make sure our loops are faced the same way so we can hook them in and they'll sit nicely. Okay, so now that we have our links done, I have attached this one between our loops, and I'll just show you simply. You want to open up your loop on your link and then close that around your ring, and then open up the other end, hook in your ring, and then close the loop on that. So I'm gonna make sure my loops are closed right. And then we're gonna link in our chain that we have. I think I'm gonna take some copper jump rings here and see if these are probably about a 5 millimeter. I'm gonna see if it will fit around this chain and then around the link. I think this chain's so fun too. I don't know where it got it. Okay, we link that in, that worked fine. And then we're gonna do the other side. Hook in our acrylic chain. Now, instead of putting the chain on, you could certainly just string the rest with pearls or however you would like. But I just thought I would grab this and add it to it. All right, so then all we have to do at this point is just put our clasp on. And again, we just need some jump rings and just hook. This is a very convenient clasp that they've given you because it has everything you need there, and it's a very cool one. And then we're just going to close our jump ring as we add our clasp, and same thing on the other side. Just add that to the end of the chain and hook it onto your other link. And that's it. Okay guys, so here is our finished piece from the Potomac Beads Ghoulish Goodies treasure box. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. I thought it was super fun, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye-bye.